Today, we're talking about one of the biggest stories in medicine right now, that new wave of super powerful weight loss drugs. But we're not just talking about weight. Nope. We're going to dive into a really surprising and maybe even game-changing connection to one of the most common causes of pain on the planet, osteoarthritis.
So let's just get right to it. This is the big question. Is it possible that these drugs could do more than help people lose weight? Could they actually fight joint pain directly? We're going to break down the science, we'll look at the evidence, and see what's really going on here.
Okay, first things first. To even understand why a weight loss drug might help a painful joint, we really have to update our whole way of thinking about what osteoarthritis is.
For decades, we all thought of osteoarthritis as just simple mechanics, like the tread on a tire wearing down over time. But that view is totally outdated. Scientists now see it as a much more complex disease of the entire joint. It's not just about friction, it's about biology. Specifically, it's about this low-grade, constant inflammation and messed-up metabolism that are actively destroying the joint from the inside out. And believe me, that shift in thinking is absolutely key to this whole story.
And make no mistake, this is a massive, massive problem. Just look at that number. 16% of everyone on the globe over the age of 15 has knee osteoarthritis. And with populations getting older and obesity rates climbing, that number, well, it's projected to just skyrocket. So finding new ways to treat it has never been more important.
So with this new way of thinking about arthritis, seeing it as a metabolic and inflammatory disease, suddenly a totally unexpected hero enters the story. Let's meet him. GLP-1 agonists. You've probably heard the names, right? Ozempic, Wegovy. Those are GLP-1 agonists. They were first made to treat type 2 diabetes because they basically copy a hormone that our gut releases when we eat, and that helps control blood sugar. But it turned out they had this incredible side effect. They made people lose a lot of weight.
And what's really fascinating is that these drugs are doing so much more than just managing weight. Yeah, a 15% drop in body weight is huge, but they also boost insulin, they tell your brain you're not hungry, and get this, they've even been shown to protect the heart and the brain. These are not just weight loss drugs, they're whole body drugs.
And that whole body effect is what got scientists thinking, hey, if these drugs can fight inflammation around the heart, could they do the same thing inside a painful arthritic joint? So they took this question into the lab.
And what they found in these early studies, in cells and in animals, was just incredibly positive and consistent. The drugs showed three really key effects. They were chondroprotective, which is a fancy way of saying they literally acted like a shield, protecting cartilage cells from dying. They were also immunomodulatory, meaning they turned down the volume on all those nasty inflammatory chemicals. And in at least one animal study, they even seemed to have a direct pain-killing effect.
So as scientists dug a little deeper, they found a smoking gun. It seems like all these good things were happening because the drug was interfering with one specific thing, a kind of master switch for inflammation in our cells called NF-kappa B.
Let's break that down, because it's really cool. Think of NF-kappa B as the inflammatory alarm switch inside your joint cells. When bad signals show up, that switch gets flipped on, and bam, it unleashes all these proteins that just chew up your cartilage. What the lab studies are showing is that these GLP-1 drugs can get in there and basically jam the alarm, keeping that switch stuck in the off position.
And look, this isn't just my take. This quote from a big scientific review pretty much sums it up perfectly. In the lab, the evidence is strong, it's consistent, and it has a really clear biological explanation.
Okay, so that all sounds incredible, right? But how does that amazing science from the lab translate from a clean petri dish into the messy, complicated world of actual human beings? Well, this is where the story takes a fascinating turn.
Yeah, unlike that clear-cut success they saw in the lab, the results from human trials have been, well, they've been all over the place. That really clear signal from the lab started to get a whole lot fuzzier.
And this slide captures the problem perfectly. It's a tale of two trials. You have two different GLP-1 drugs. On one side, a drug called liraglutide. Result? No real improvement in knee pain compared to a placebo, even though people lost weight. But then, in a more recent trial, a different drug, semaglutide, showed a significant reduction in pain. So, same family of drugs, totally different outcomes. What is going on?
And this leads us right to the heart of the whole debate. Is the pain relief people felt with semaglutide just because they lost a bunch of weight, which takes a lot of mechanical pressure off the knee, or is the drug also doing that direct anti-inflammatory magic inside the joint that we saw in the lab?
The argument for weight loss being the main reason is pretty strong. I mean, look at the numbers from that successful trial. The group taking the drug lost almost 14% of their body weight. The placebo group, just over 3%. And we already know from other studies that if you lose more than 10% of your body weight, your knee pain often gets a lot better all on its own. So it's really hard to separate the two effects.
Okay, so where does all this leave us? We've got this amazing story from the lab, but a really confusing picture from the human trials. What's the takeaway here?
Here's the bottom line. These drugs are incredibly promising. The idea that they could help with osteoarthritis makes perfect biological sense. But, and this is a big but, we are just not there yet. Think of this as a super exciting new road for researchers to explore, not as a proven cure you can get today.
And this slide really reminds us why scientists are still so optimistic, even with those mixed results in humans. At the cellular level, these drugs don't just do one thing. It looks like they launch this multi-pronged attack on the disease, fighting it from all these different angles. That right there is the foundation of all this potential.
But to turn that potential into reality, researchers have a ton of work ahead of them. The list of questions is long. We need more and bigger trials. We need to know if they're safe to take for years and years. And here's a huge one. Would they help someone with arthritis who isn't overweight? We also have to figure out why one drug seemed to work and the other one didn't. There's just so much we still don't know.
And all of this leaves us with one final big picture thought. Regardless of how this specific story about GLP-1 drugs turns out, it's already changed how we think. It suggests that maybe the future of treating a disease like arthritis isn't just about targeting the sore joint itself, but about treating the metabolic health of the entire person. And that is a powerful idea that could really change everything.